What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Snap Decisions. I am your Snap DJ, your host with the most, and this is a very late episode for this week. I'm getting worse, and coming out on Thursday. But the good thing is, this will be a shorter one. Well, good or bad, I guess, in your point of view. And then a little later tonight, I'm going to do an OTA review as well. Because of course we have an OTA coming out today, so it'll be very interesting to see. And that's what I'm going to talk about in the spin coming up, is things that I kind of hope for, with the OTA today, as far as, some changes are concerned, because man, oh man, this meta is, not great. And I've seen it's very similar comments from a lot of you out there in the Xverse or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to call it that because that makes it sound like an X-Men thing, and that would kind of degrade the X-Men thing. It needs a worse name than that. But yeah, so we're gonna go over that, do a little preview of of today's OTA. And then later on this evening, I will go, and I'm going to be going back to that now on a regular basis, and I'll release my OTA review, which is usually short, 20 minutes to a half an hour tops. I'll go over all the changes to all the cards, read the devs notes on each change, and then, of course, I'll give you my thoughts on the OTA that happened. So, but anyway, welcome to the show. I appreciate you listening wherever you may be doing so from. The other cool news is finally, I will be doing the YouTube thing again. I know I've been saying it for weeks, but finally on Monday, because my schedule has finally calmed down. I've been wallowed deep in back to school madness in Staples, which is our busiest time of the year. So that is over, thankfully, and so I will have the time. I'm actually dog sitting my oldest daughter's dog. They are traveling on their honeymoon, which is a year later, but they have gone to Paris. My daughter is going to see another Coldplay concert in England, I believe, as well. So, very cool. It's always awesome to see your kids do things that you've never done. And I've never traveled overseas. My wife has, but I never have. So excited for them. And, we are dog sitting. So I've got 2 dogs in the house now. So I will be doing the YouTube channel. All new look, all new, as you can see, if you go to my YouTube channel, I have an all new logo. Of course, designed by my good friend Jeff. And he also made up all the other segment logos and stuff like that for me as well. So all new, with a guest I have had on before, and that is Nerf Herder. Shortly after him, it will be Kier Nimbus. And then we'll have others as well, new guests, no luck's given. And I've been talking to a few other new people that I have not had on the show prior, who I will be setting up as well. And I hope to make that a weekly thing as much as I can. I know we're getting into won't be long. It'll be into the holiday season. But fortunately for me, it's not like when I worked at Best Buy. Best Buy is that is their busiest time of the year. Staples is a bit of a different animal, because it's not a destination place necessarily for people to go to for Black Friday and for Christmas and things like that. So I'm pretty thankful actually for that. Because I've been through that plenty in my lifetime, and I'm cool with it. So yeah. And then obviously we're going to go over this week's new card, Bastion. We'll talk about him in comics as well. We will get to my my viewer segment where I talk to you folks. I had a question again on Twitter that I posted that I got a lot of cool answers for, that I will get to in that section of the show. And then, of course, we'll get into the MCU Minute with just a lot of craziness going on and anticipation for Doomsday. And you're going to You're going to be seeing a lot more about it. The Russos actually had a little tease on their Instagram yesterday or the day before, which I'll talk about that in there. And then, of course, we will get to the Guess the Lyric, the Dazzlers Lyric Challenge, which was indeed guessed last week. And of course, if you didn't know, like I said, you're living under a rock. But that was, of course, Billy Joel's Piano Man. Just such an iconic and famous song. And So congrats, of course, to my no prize winner for that one. And great job. It was gotten pretty quickly over on Blue Sky within like probably an hour of when I released the podcast. So, all right, let's get into it, shall we? We'll also take a quick look back at my gameplay for the week, and of course go over some variants. I did get a good amount of variants, so some variants and stuff that I got this week, and we'll take a quick gander into the shop and all that kind of stuff too. So, okay. Let's get started, shall we? And again, I didn't really even remember that there was an OTA today, but I do have the file. And I consult it from time to time. And I looked last night and I'm like, oh, damn. I was wondering when the next OTA was. And here it is today. Now, again, let's start off the show. And I mention this all the time. Today is a very sad Remembrance Day. And, I know we had something happen yesterday in the news, and an assassination of a very high profile figure, which was all over the place. But obviously today is a day that I will certainly never forget. Of course, 9/11. I always hearken back to the moment where I was when all of this took place. And I can remember distinctly, I was working in Radio Shack. We were at a manager's meeting that morning. We were in the office when we had started to hear about it. And I, of course, then, we abandoned the meeting and we all went outside, and we had the TVs on in the actual store location there. And we were all watching in complete and utter shock and disbelief of what was going on. And I can remember then our district manager had told us to go back to our stores. We all left, and I was listening to Howard Stern on the radio in my car on my way back to my mall location that I was managing at the time. And it was just incredibly surreal. My wife, of course, was very upset by it. She's from New York, and she was, of course, wanted to make sure that all her family and relatives were safe, and that no one was in the city at the time, and things like that. And luckily, that was the case. But there was nothing but, I can remember going to work then, and it was I had never seen the mall like so empty in my life, other than maybe like when there was a big blizzard or snowstorm or something. It was just unbelievable. And, of course, just eyes glued to the TV and listening to the news and all that kind of stuff. And, just a horrible, horrible day, for so many people and so many lives. And then, I looked to comic books, which, an issue of Amazing Spider-Man, which I still own. I go back and I look through it from time to time, even though it does kind of drudge up some bad memories, of course, and stuff, but it was written extremely well. I forget the issue. I don't have the issue's number on the top of my head, but I believe it was Straczynski who wrote it, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. But the person who wrote it and stuff was working in the Marvel Comics studio in New York City at the time, and of course they were pretty close to Ground Zero and where the World Trade Center where that all was destroyed. And he just had to do it. He said, I just had to express myself in my art. But the comic is just very surreal. It's Spider-Man, basically going to the site of the demolished Trade Center and when it happened. And I just remember the very first page, and you see the fire and the flames and stuff, and you see Spider-Man just on a wall, and his only thought bubble is the word God, like God, like oh my God, oh my gosh, it was just. And then later on, in the issue, you see the superheroes. You see Captain America helping with the cleanup, and you see even some of the villains. You see Doctor Doom. You see all, and as Spider-Man narrates and saying that, the one thing, we may, they may be supervillains, they may be horrible people, but they're all kind of, seeing eye to eye with this because it's a thing that affected them all. In the United States and of course in New York City. So if you get a chance, and if it doesn't bother you, I mean, obviously I would never tell anyone who had anyone that you knew, loved ones, family, friends, whatever, that were involved with that to go back and remember, obviously, to think about that again. But if you haven't seen the book, it's very, 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 very well done. And I go back to it from time to time, usually, on this time of the year. But it was something I had never thought in my lifetime that I would ever see. And, and hopefully we as a country will never see anything like that again. But yeah, so just, I usually put a post up, always remember, with, of course, the towers in the background. And, but yeah, just an incredibly somber and sad day for our country. So, all right. Well, let's get into my spin, and again, I will talk about the upcoming OTA and what I'd like to see. So, I will say that there are some decks that are. That just keep continually repeating themselves as far as in the top of the meta. Now, I'm in my little niche on ladder. I'm still seeing a lot of end of turn, which I had kind of thought that deck was pretty much dead. But I did see that Safety still has a variation of it that he's played, and so it's still pretty darn strong. And I don't really know what else they can do with that. I had said a while back that they can nerf Invisible Woman, and instead of having her be a 3 cost, make her a 4, which would definitely shut that down, because then you wouldn't be able to copy Invisible Woman, you wouldn't be able to do any of that stuff. But the fact of the matter is, now they're just making a lot more activate cards, a lot more. They have end of turn stuff, other end of turn cards and things like that now you can plug into that, or just tech cards that you can plug into that too, which is another deck that's in the meta now, which is that tech soup deck that just techs in everything. But I think the big offender right now, and I'm really hoping to see something from the OTA about this today, is Victoria Hand. It's just out of control. And especially now you have Bastion, which added to that, and it's just way too strong and, very, very easy. I stay away from it. It's not a deck type that I enjoy, but I just wanted to do some research. So I went and played, Dexter's version of it that he made with, Bastion recently. And let me tell you, it is super easy to play. And it is extremely strong in points. It is so easy now to get out like 2 or 3 Victoria Hands. And you're just going to climb above almost just about anyone that you're going to play in the game. That you're just going to get higher point totals. And so it's to me it's served its time. I think it's time to look at, and I think it's time for a nerf to Victoria Hand. She's just incredibly strong and has been for a long time now. They haven't looked at it, and I can't believe that, I get it. I know their reasoning behind it, and they're always having to defend that. They're always asked about it, and why aren't you not? Well, we go by this or this number. Well, I don't care what number you go by. All I know is the numbers that I see when I play the game, and the deck is everywhere right now. Absolutely everywhere. I see it constantly when I'm playing on ladder. And yeah, so even in my little neck of the woods where I am not infinite, I have not hit infinite. I'm in the mid 80s again, kind of stuck there. And, but that's what I see. So I think that Bastion just made it even more so. I don't know if they will, because again, that's gonna hurt their playing of their new card, which is Bastion, because that's what it's going in primarily, is the Victoria Hand stuff, maybe a little bit of Cerebro, but that's gonna hurt the play of the new card. So I don't know if they would necessarily choose that, or because this is not worked on, 2 days from today, they don't work on it in the last 2 days. They prepare it ahead of time. They still might not be seeing what they need to see, I guess, to get rid of Victoria Hand or nerf Victoria Hand. So I'm not sure we'll see it in this one, but I would be shocked at this point if we do not see it in the next one, which is the 25th, my birthday, actually. They're doing a patch on the 16th as well. And again, so many things that I could go through the list of that I'd love to see done in a patch. But yeah, so Victoria Hand is definitely one of them. I'm wondering if, because of the uptick in play of Stardust, if they're going to consider maybe doing something to that card as well. It's very, it's one of the things, but I don't know. I mean, that might be one of those cards. It's almost like Shang-Chi, where at this point it's kind of a necessary evil, because of the rampant running of Destroy right now too. There is a ton of Destroy out there that's being played in various different forms. And, that kind of controls that a little bit, where, they're not just going to be able to play the Wolverine and the X-23 constantly. If you have the Stardust out, it kind of controls that a little. So, I don't necessarily know that they would do that. But Stardust is an incredibly strong tech piece. And again, it's another one of those cards that's in that tech soup deck. And so, but again, I don't know if that's necessarily something, being that it's relatively new, that they would look at. I mean, other than that, I can't really think of like any obnoxious decks. How about with the real quick little side note here, that with the tournament winner being just a basic run of the mill discard deck? How about that? That's kind of crazy, right? That should give some newer players, or some players who maybe aren't all collection complete, a lot of positivity and a lot of hope, actually, because I mean, the deck only has really one new card, and that's Khonshu. And I'm not really sure you even need the Khonshu per se to win it. Of course, the Khonshu's nice if you get that discard out on the, you're getting two 12-point cards out at the very end of the game, which more than likely aren't going to be able to be Shang-Chi, because you play it last turn. And they can't kind of guess where that other 12 is going. So it's a very good card for the deck, but I don't know that it's even a necessary one. But yeah, just your standard run-of-the-mill discard deck. And now, obviously, that's a credit to the player as well, for playing it and for knowing exactly how to play it. But for people who aren't collection complete, should be, some positivity for people out there that are fans of the genre, that are fans of the discard. And you can play it pretty cheaply because there really isn't much in there that's not an earlier version of an earlier version of a card from Marvel Snap. So that's kind of cool. This is the I'll read this out. This is the deck that I was talking about. This is the Dexter. Now, this is an ongoing list. So this isn't even a standard Victoria Hand list, and it still works incredibly well. This is Ant-Man, Quinjet, Goliath, Iron Patriot, Mirage, Victoria Hand, Captain Carter, Captain America, Speed, Frigga, and then Bastion and Moonstone. So, but this just gets crazy powerful, and so, but that's just one of them. That's not even a standard list at this point. And then I'm just trying to look at what some of the other, like some of these other ones that you see, some of these other decks. I mean, they really tried to make, come up with another move. And there was some move being played in that tournament as well. But, and of course, this is an Activate season. And I don't know how. So far, I'm not overwhelmed with really any of these cards. Viv is okay. I played her a little bit. I don't think she's great. She's just a very kind of a meh season pass card and stuff. So I don't really think she's that good. Obviously, Bastion seems pretty good in that one particular list. Sparky was the one that you figured would have brought move back, and yeah, people are playing it, but it's not something I'm seeing a ton of. In my little neck of the woods on the ladder, I'm just kind of seeing like repeat stuff that I've seen for the last several months. I'm seeing, like I said, the Invisible Woman deck. So I don't know if that's still that popular. And I don't look at statistics and stuff like that, like the others do that do videos on decks and stuff like that, like Alex and KM. But if that's still showing strength, then, maybe it's time to do something a little more to that. Safety Blades End to Turn deck. This is what this consists of. It's Echo, Spider-Ham, Hydra Bob, Thena, Havoc, of course, the major players, Surge, Mobius and Mobius, Copycat, Invisible Woman First Steps, and of course Juggernaut. Oh, there's a card. Let's talk about Juggernaut. Juggernaut, 100% needs a nerf. 100% needs it. I mean, and they just changed it. They just changed it to a 4, and it's still now. It's still prevalent. It's still in decks. People are still playing it. Now, I don't know. I'm sure probably not nearly as many. But this card, honestly, this is a card I think they're going to play around with and play around with and play around with and keep missing the mark. To me, I think this card just needs an overall change. That ability where you can it's basically an I win card. It's basically an I win card. And when I used to play Magic the Gathering, I win cards were always either banned or restricted to one card per deck or else banned altogether. There should not be in any card game an I win card. And that's what this is. And I don't care if they change it from 3 to 4, it doesn't matter. To me, I think it needs to have its ability changed. And yeah, I think it's just at this point, it's an I win card. You have this in your deck. You're still going to win games with it. You're still going to hold it for the last turn. So like I said, the 3 doesn't matter. Who the hell was playing it on 3 anyway? Nobody was playing it on turn 3. This is a card that everybody's going to wait until the last turn of the game. Make sure you're winning at least one lane. And then in that other lane that you're kind of close, but you may be losing by like a point or 2, you can always put in Juggernaut and you're always going to win that lane. It's that simple. So to me, I think at this point in time, that's a card that they need to really look at. And I'm sure maybe the play rate of it has gone down now because of the fact that they did make it a 4. But to me, I thought that was the dumbest change ever. Like, who the hell cares? Nobody plays this card until turn 6. So what does it matter if it's a 3, if it's a 4, if it's a 5 cost? It doesn't matter. That's not gonna change this. People wait till the end of the game to play it anyway. So who cares? The ones that were using it all the time are still using it. and it's an I win card. And again, like I said, there should not be an I win card in the game. There just shouldn't be. In a game that has this small amount of cards in it, there shouldn't be a card that you could simply stick down and say, I win the game. That just shouldn't happen. So yeah, Juggernaut is another one. I know they're not going to change that. They just did. So they're going to give that a while to brew and stuff like that, but they're not going to change that again. But that's another card that really just didn't get fixed by what they did to it. What I'm not seeing played is I'm not really seeing big cards played much. At least I haven't run into any of that. Usually I'll run into like a Surtur deck or two, but I have not seen that at all. So that kind of list could be primarily dead right now. A lot of people are thinking that maybe Viv might get a quick buff, and maybe with the OTA they might do that. I don't know. I just don't think she's particularly strong. Moira, I think, is fine. Of course, she's the one of those ones that adds to the destroy piece, and you could play that in just simple destroy. But I think she seems fine. I don't really know. I think maybe this might be an OTA where we see more buffs than nerfs here. But of the cards we got so far, I think Omega Sentinel's fine. Awesome Andy is what he is. I don't think that many people are going to use the card. But yeah, and looking over the past few releases from last month and stuff like that, I'm not seeing anything relatively new that they would have to nerf in particular. That just seems like way too strong. Obviously, and there are still people playing Mercury Cannonball, which I thought was nuts. But they are. They're people just can't break the habits and change their play style up when they get a hold of something that I still, for God's sakes, I still see people playing standard mill. Like, I mean, that's one of those decks where, again, it's just like you get addicted to it because of the easy play style, I guess. And people just continue to play it, regardless whether it's even relevant or not. And to me, I just look at that and I chuckle because I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna. They when I've been playing this Hella Agatha deck, people, I'm hoping they do that. Yeah, mill away my cards, go right ahead, and pull some of my cards over onto your side. Like, what are you gonna do with it? They're all big cards that you're probably not going to be able to play anyway until the last turn of the game. So go right ahead. Steal what you want because it's going to be absolutely useless to you. And there's a lot of decks that are like that now that need particular cards that if you pull them over to your side of the game are going to do nothing for you. So to me, I don't know. I'm just shocked that people even still try to bother playing that. I ran into a couple Loki decks this week all of a sudden. And I don't know if they're incorporating that into the Victoria Hand stuff where they're playing Loki Victoria Hand. Maybe that's what they're doing. But I don't know. Maybe Loki makes a comeback too. So, all right. Well, we'll see, I guess, a little later this afternoon what we're going to get. But I'm kind of expecting maybe more buffs than nerfs in this one. And we'll have to see. But I don't know, other than the couple that I mentioned, and I don't think that, personally, I don't think Victoria Hand will get changed, at least not in this one in particular. But I think once they maybe see the uptick in results from Bastion, then maybe that'll be the case. But she, I think, like I said, is probably one of the most powerful cards in the game right now. And I think it does incorporate some looking at. So, all right. Well, that is the spin for today. I don't really have anything much else on the game in itself. But we're gonna find out some stuff here. This is my listener, of course, participation segment of the week, which I'm going to have graphics for and stuff like that as we go, and call it the request line. So we're going to get to that. And again, this is from X I posted a question there, and thank you to everybody who has responded to my question on the X platform. And basically, I said I did ask actually asked two separate questions. I asked what you'd want to see, but let me go to this one first. And I wrote, if you were a developer for Marvel Snap, what's the first change you would make to improve the game? And I asked, it kind of said, I want to hear from you. So these are some of the responses I got. Chris Hemsworth, I would make it faster. Maybe it's just me, but when I play, there were times it took too long for my opponent to put up a card and let the timer go all the way down to the end. I hate waiting that long. Yeah, more and more people seem to be doing that. We're also getting a lot of that, I think, though, from the bots. The bots seemingly are playing, and then they do that. The bots are kind of sitting there, and that's what makes me go back to my comment that I had about these cheater bots, where I honestly think that they're in the CPU brain that controls these bots. I think they're looking at your cards, and I think they see your cards, and they're making a determination on whether or not that they can beat you, and that's what I think makes it take so long. So I think we're seeing that in bots too. But yeah, I've seen that too. So I got one for here. Rework the collection track. Add more gold. Yeah, the collection track is pretty much DOA, right? That's pretty much DOA. It's a lot of the creators don't even open them. Now I always have opened mine, and I always will, but I know a lot of creators don't even do it. I know Regis Kilbin does a video every few months where he'll go and he'll pick a topic that he talks about, and he'll open all of his collection track stuff to see what he got. But I know very few people that actually do that anymore. So yeah, the collection track is just garbage right now. Add more gold. I don't see that happening. Gold is getting scarce, and I don't see them giving us away where we're going to get more gold added for free. That I do not see. Add a new mode, some kind of story mode with comics. That I think is a fantastic idea. I would love that. I don't think they will, because it would kind of change what the game is. But I kind of go back to that DC game that was out for a little while. That card game, that really short-lived one, that kind of died a quick death, and never really I don't even know if it ever really got released properly. But yeah, I would love to see something in Snap that is more associated with the comics, that has like a story mode. Like when I got excited when I saw the data mines for Maximum Carnage, because I thought, oh damn, are they doing something in the way of doing a Maximum Carnage storyline? Like, wow, that'd be awesome. But it ended up, of course, being the thing in that new mode. But yeah, that would be cool. I would love to see them do more with comic stuff. Obviously, they, with Marvel games. Now, they just cleared that up. Someone asked them a question in devs about how soon or how early do they know things? Like, people are talking about Doomsday, of course, and are you guys working on stuff with Doomsday? And they kind of put that to rest, saying no, they work with Marvel games in particular, and they don't get to know stuff that much earlier than all of us do. So. So they kind of put that to bed a little bit, but yeah, I would love to see something more incorporating comic book storylines and stuff like that. I think that'd be amazing. I mean, make a season about not just a character in particular. They've done them obviously for movies, for Fantastic Four First Steps. They've done it now. They're going to be doing a Marvel Zombies thing, so they're doing it for movies and TV shows. But man, could you imagine like an X-Men season for Fatal Attraction, right? Like they just had on the animated series, or pick a big event book like Maximum Carnage, or like Secret War. Obviously when Secret War comes out, they may very well have a Secret War season, but more based on comics. I think that's a fantastic idea. And you know me, I mean, that's why I play this game. is because of my comic fandom mostly. So, yeah, that's a fantastic idea. More daily tokens, says Just Majesty. The other comment was Jer Pire. I'm going to butcher this poor guy's name forever. I'm just going to butcher his name forever. And he's given me so many things for the show. I'm just going to continue to butcher his name. But yes, but thank you for that. And Just Majesty says more daily tokens. Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is the token thing is going to go up now. You know, there's more things to spend on, more money to spend, or more things to spend tokens on, more cards that we're getting, these 10 cards a month now. So the tokens are going down. I said that on my last show. Now I'm right around like 29,000. I was up closer to 45,000. So the tokens are indeed going to go down. So it wouldn't make sense for them to do that and maybe give us a little more, but I would kind of doubt that is going to happen. I just don't see it. So, all right, now we'll go to the second question I had here, and I asked about today's OTA. What changes do you all want to see in today's OTA? Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. That's a great. That's a John Denver song, by the way. My wife was a big John Denver fan. But yeah, I wonder if Sunshine on My Shoulders is indeed a John Denver fan. Says Master Mold Buffs. Ooh, yuck. No, thank you. I do not like that archetype. That is a very, very annoying archetype where they're filling your hand up with garbage. Yeah, not me, man. More power to you, though. If you're a fan of that, no, thank you. I do not like that. But I don't know. Maybe it's something as a deterrent. Maybe you can use that as a deterrent for some of these Victoria hand decks that are just filling up your hands, right? So I don't know. Maybe you're onto something there, and maybe they would buff it because of the you like the Ronin and all that kind of stuff, because your opponent's going to have their hands full. However, it doesn't usually stay that way because they're going to be able to play all those low-cost copy cards, more than likely. So, but yeah, well, hey, listen, to each their own. Okay, this is EME $I $N3T on at Emesis. I stick to my opinion. I believe he wants a Galactus buff. He's showing me a picture of the original Galactus, or Galactus at 6'3". And then, yeah, look, I've clamored for a buff to the regular Galactus for a long time. I just don't think we're ever going to see it. They consider the card to be way too obnoxious. KM was talking about it on a show that he did recently and said that he thinks it's in a perfect spot right now. You know, that it should be like it shouldn't be a card that gets played a lot. It should be something that's very niche and only works. Believe me, trust me, being the fan of Galactus that I am, I would love nothing more to see the original Galactus come back. But at least look at it this way: we have Galactus First Steps, which a lot of people are indeed playing. It is a pretty good card, and so yeah, you know, I agree with you. Believe me, being the fan of the card and the fan of the destruction, but I just don't see it happening. Barnyard from Twitter says, reset Galactus. Bring back series drops immediately. Yeah, there was a little news on that front. Someone asked the devs about that, and they said there are no plans. 0 plans right now to have series drops. So I'm sure that didn't go over well with much of the audience that indeed saw that. So if you didn't see that comment, there are no plans for series drops. And also the other one is if you're a fan of alliances, there are no plans for alliances right now either. So they had talked about those alliance wars, and someone asked them about that and the status of that, and there are no plans for that either. So sadly, 2 things. Now, I don't know if people really care that much about the alliance stuff, but something that a lot of people care about with series drops. As of right now, there is nothing planned for series drops. So hate to be the bearer of bad news if you did not read it, but unfortunately, that is not in the cards right now. So, Cut costs on everything by 50%. Really don't see that happening. Make one Series 4 card free for players once a season, like the Series 3 cards. Gone off track from the original post, but hey ho. Look, I'm sure you're not the only one that asks for this kind of stuff. And with the declining player base, which we all know is happening, okay? That's why there are so many bots. That's why our prevalence of some bots are so prevalent, and the cheater bots are so prevalent. The tougher bots are so prevalent throughout the 80s and 90s on ladder. That is why, because the gaming community in this game has gone down extremely. And I don't know what the exact numbers are. I know there are some content creators that have talked about it in the last 2 months or 3 months. So yeah, the player base of this game has dropped big time from year to year. And, they're just going to keep seeing players say goodbye to the game. They're trying to hang on, and they're trying to keep on doing these tournaments now more frequently. So I'm sure they're trying to maybe establish more of and I think that could be why they put the rewards in there for people who are hitting infinite, because maybe they're switching away from they're switching away from the player base that they're focused on, and maybe they're going to just focus on the players who are the like your content creators that are constantly in infinite, or your higher up the ladder in infinite players like KM and others. Maybe they're going to focus more on them, because maybe they figure, you know what, we are not making this other player base happy. Which are going to be like the lower collection level players or the entry level players and stuff like that. So we better focus on the players that we have, and make them happy. So maybe that's some of the decision making being made, but it's not that the stuff you're asking for isn't reasonable. I just don't see it happening. Taskmaster back to 5 cost and a Negasonic nerf. Yeah, Negasonic is another card that I think does need to be looked at. It's in a lot of decks. And it is it's always going to take out a card. Sure, you could play around it. When I've seen it recently, granted, I'm playing a hella deck, so I don't necessarily need to play cards in all the lanes, because what's going to happen is, the advantage to that is a lot of your cards are going to get played on that final turn if you have Hella in your hand. And if they go there with Negasonics there, it doesn't matter. They're not going to blow up because you're not playing cards in that lane. So if you're playing a deck like that, it's not that big of a deal. But, if most of the other times you're going to lose a card, and in that case you're sacrificing a card. Now some decks allow you that, but we play with a very small deck of cards in this game, so all your cards are usually kind of important, and not a lot of them can just be thrown away. But yeah, I would agree with that. That's something that maybe you could maybe see. I don't know, maybe it's something we could see in the OTA today. All I see is discard and Quicksilver. Well, discard is prevalent because of the tournament, because, everybody's going to copy that. And, and again, I'm not going to begrudge them for that. They're probably low CL players. And if it gives the low CL players something to play and something they could win games with, I'm all for that. Even though, yes, it is going to get obnoxious. You're going to get a little sick of seeing it. But if it's because of the low-level collection players that they just want something to compete with, I have no problems with that. Quicksilver, Domino, and Wiccan as well. Yeah, I don't see Quicksilver, Domino getting changed. Wiccan is going to be a list that's only going to get a little stronger because we've got cards that are going to come out soon that are going to play into Wiccan and give you bonuses for having that type of deck. So I don't really see Wiccan being, but yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that too. I'm seeing a lot of Wiccan as well. The Quicksilver, Domino, Wiccan package combined with a lot of other things, I'm seeing a lot of that too. And then Ultra United FC saying Venom being an activate ability. Wow. Do you think Destroy is at that point where it's that strong that it might need something like that? I don't know. I mean, yeah, I've certainly seen a lot of it. So I don't know. Maybe, I've said in the past that I'm getting sick of seeing Destroy. Now I've been playing a lot of Conquest over this past week. So that could be why. I mean, Destroy is extremely the player to Destroy is extremely high in Conquest. But I don't know. Is Venom worthy of a look? I said that many months ago when Destroy had gotten, even before like all this Dormammu stuff and all the new cards that Destroy has gotten, and Fire Hair and all the other ones that it's gotten in recent days. But yeah, I have kind of a unique look, and maybe I should have gone over this in the spin a little bit, but I'm at the point where I know that the devs, with the cards that they make, they're always going to be able to, and I don't think I have the right word for it, but I'm going to say push certain archetypes on people. It's probably not the right word for that, but they have the right they have the ability to steer it in that direction. So like this month with right off the bat with Move, whatever they're going to release, that's how they're going to try to steer the meta. And I don't know that I mean, you can't help it because we only have so many archetypes, because no matter what kind of cards you put in there, you're going to steer it in that direction. That's just what players are going to do. It's just unfortunate for me, and I don't know how many of you guys out there are the same way. I hate that archetype. I cannot stand Move. It's too thought-provoking. I don't want to sit here and have to think that much to play a game, to play a 3-4 minute card game. So I'm never going to enjoy that. And I'm not a fan of Destroy. I never was. Ever since the start of playing this game, I've never been a fan of that archetype. So neither one of those appeals to me. And we've been getting a lot of cards for both of those archetypes lately. So that kind of, that kind of doesn't make me happy as a player, because I know what we're going to see after that happens. And those are two archetypes that I just don't like. Neither one. And then we're getting more and more cards for both of them. And so, that's kind of irritating to me, but what are you going to do? It's just the way it goes. So, all right. Well, so that is it for for that segment in particular. And thank you to all those who responded. I may have had some people that responded over on Blue Sky as well, but I can't get to my Blue Sky right at the moment, so I apologize. And like I said, I am going to make this a little bit shorter, but that is my request line for the week. So right now, next up, we're going to get to some Snap Talk, and we're going to go over some of the stuff that, I did throughout the course of my Snap week this past week. In the game. So again, I'm right back where I was. I made it to 90 last month. I got to 95, and I kind of bottomed out there. But now I'm back stuck in that slog that I call the 80s. And I got to 83, and I played a little bit in, and I lost a bunch of games, and I went back to 82, and I went back to 81, and now I made my way back up to 83. So again, the 80s are just awful, and right now I'm sitting at 83 and 6 out of 7, so I'm pretty close to 84. And generally, I've been playing this Agatha list, which I read off to you guys on last week's show. This is, I don't think it's changed. Black Knight, red shirt, red shift, Gambit, Corvus Glaive, Lady Sif, Ghost Rider, Blink, Hela Legion, Eson. Legion is in a version of this. But Eson, that's more of Denish's list, which takes a lot more thought. He plays that a lot differently. Eson, Agatha, Scar, and Death. So, pretty run-of-the-mill, but it is relatively consistent. Now, when you start seeing tech soup, you're screwed, because if someone plays... If anyone is playing the, I knew I'd forget it because I forget it every single week. Stardust. If anyone is playing Stardust, you're screwed, because you're not going to get the Agatha cards. So you can maybe try to get around it, especially if you have the Ebony Blade working for you, and try to play around it a little bit that way. But if you want that end to turn stuff, you are not going to get it if someone plays Stardust. So you're just screwed. You have to retreat. But yeah, I've been playing that for the most part throughout the course of the week. Just trying different things, but it hasn't been as consistent. It got me through the 70s, and I like playing it because I thought it would be a bot fooler. Like the bots kind of get a little confused when they see Agatha because they can't see that you have really good cards out. And many times it's confusing to bots, but now that I'm seeing the cheater bots, if they don't see me have and I'm convinced that they could see what you have in your hand too. And if you don't have the Hela in your hand, it seems like they snap more often when I'm playing it. So, and I could tell when they're bots. It's not hard to figure out. There are a lot of bots right now that are playing. I played a little bit of C3, but again, this is the list. This is a little bit of a different C3 list. This has Omega Sentinel in it. And Bastion's in this now too, but this is Bast, Gorgon. I think Alex Kocha had this one. Bast, Gorgon, Scarlet Witch, Scorpion, U.S. Agent, Cerebro, Mystique, Luke Cage, Cosmo, Diamondback, Bastion, and Omega Sentinel. So it's kind of like a toxic list in a way. You have Scorpion, you have Omega Sentinel, and you have Diamondback that are all kind of toxic, cards mixed with Gorgon, which Gorgon is a great card right now. Your opponent's created cards cost one more. That really can hurt some of the Victoria hand decks and stuff like that and stop people from playing those very cheaply. But this was pretty good. But as with any Cerebro list, I have to take my cap off to the players that play this deck on a consistent basis because I'll be honest, I never, ever get the Cerebro Mystique. I always end up getting screwed by a location that spits out a demon or something else that's going to screw me over. With the Cerebro, I literally don't see how you people can play this consistently because there are just so many things that can cause you to get screwed. And I guess in a way, maybe that's just an easy retreat for you. But I don't know. I just don't see how people play the Cerebro decks with consistency and win with consistency with them, because they can just so easily mess you over, with things that just appear randomly in a game, that it just becomes something that's not consistent, which is why I don't play it a lot. I told you about Dexter's, Bastion list, which I've been playing the last few days a little bit as well. And I tried my hand at that standard discard list that won the tournament, and it's good. Scorn, Blade, Morbius, Colleen Wing, Gambit, Corvus Glaive, Lady Sif, Dracula, Proxima Midnight, MODOK, Khonshu, and Apocalypse. It is good. I won, I'm pretty sure. I think I won all the games that I played with it. I just find it a little boring. It's not exciting for me to play. And decks that you play in this game kind of have to be fun for you, and they have to be exciting, or else it's not going to maintain your interest. And this, to me, while it does seem consistent, it just comes off as a little boring to me. And so it's not going to be something that discard is not something I love in the game. And so while it is very consistent, it's probably not something that I could just sit there and play all day long. It does nothing for me in that respect. I messed around with this Safety Blade deck a little bit. This is not something that I would play a lot, but this is a Viv deck, and it has move stuff incorporated into it. Batroc the Leaper, Hydra Bob, Mercury, Captain America Silk, Hydra Stomper, Storm, Mobius and Mobius, War Machine, Stardust, Cannonball, and Legion. So a lot of combos in this. Mercury, Cannonball, War Machine, Storm, Legion combo is in this. So a lot of combos in this deck. Some tech, of course, with Mobius and Mobius. And then you're just moving cards around. So interesting list from Safety Blade. And I think that's really generally all I've played in this particular week. And yeah, so that's generally all I've been playing around with. But I'll keep you posted on where we're at. In the shop, there's a new Hobgoblin card, Menacing Mechanisms. New Hobgoblin, 2,500 gold with it for $20. The exclusive offer Bastion variants in there. I doubt I'm ever gonna buy those because we're getting the free variants anyway, or the 700 gold variants, which is fine for the cards. I don't need to be purchasing ones. I did get the Pandart Studio Death. I collect all the deaths, and that was one in particular that I missed. So I did end up getting that. And then let's see, what else do I have here? Let's go over some variants and stuff that I got throughout the course of the week. So as I mentioned, Death, the Pandart Studio Death, I did get. Pretty cool one. Has her sitting on a throne holding a flower, and you see the flower petals and stuff moving away from her and stuff. So kind of cool. Death to me doesn't really have any bad ones. That's just a card that gets a lot of very cool variants. I got the Moon Colony and Rodgon variant of Bastion. They're the ones that look like the chibis. I did get that because that's a 700 gold one. I end up getting that. I got a super rare Mystique, Rose Besh variant of Mystique. Kind of cool. I like the artwork where kind of like she's turning into like almost looks like glass toward the bottom, where she's shattering at the bottom of the card, but very cool. I picked up a Luna Snow because Luna is one of those cards that I never got a variant for. So I picked up a Luna Snow, the Kreese variant of Luna Snow, where she has the little heart. And you can see the ice in background. She's in like a stadium. So she's at a concert, or giving a concert. She's obviously a singer. I actually, believe it or not, got a God Split of a Galactus. And it's the Galactus First Steps. I got the Purple Crackle, which I have not seen a good split in this game in months, since they've been going hog wild with bananas. I have not seen a split like that in a long time, so that was a very welcome thing to see. Of course, the Nimrod on the collection track, the Cyberpunk variant of Nimrod. I very seldom, if ever, play Nimrod. I got the Magica Geek variant of Wasp, which is cool. Very anime-esque, cartoonish looking. I also got a variant of Fenris Wolf, which is another card I didn't have a variant for. And that's the Victor Faro Fenris Wolf, which is cool. It's like very Spectre-like. He looks green. He looks like the one from the Ragnarok movie a little bit more. So I did get that as well. And then I also got the David Nakayama variant of Scream, which maybe I may have mentioned that before. So I might be at the point where I've gotten that before. And then I got the Mech variant of Deadpool. And I got the Alex Horley variant of Starbrand. Starbrand's another card that I didn't realize I didn't have variants for a lot of these. But the Alex Horley variant of Starbrand. And yeah, I think that is all of my variants for the week. Conquest, I'm very close to getting the Rhino card. I just need the ones that unlock next week. So I need to do the 250 credits, the 1 gold ticket, and the white neon border. But I have enough saved up now for the white neon border pretty much. And then I'll just have to save up to get the other two, and I'll have that Rhino variant, which is the Moon Colony variant of Rhino. I told you he has a missing tooth. It's kind of cool looking variant. I kind of like it, even though I don't really play the card. So there you go. I played I'm not doing well at all in the Snap Judgments League. I lost both of the games I played. But I'm just fooling around. You know, I mess around with decks in there now. It's like, you know, I just have fun playing, and I went in there with my Agatha list and came down to the very last game, but I got beat by a person playing a Surfer deck. But yeah, I'm and then the week before I got beat by a Cerebro deck. So, you know, playing, obviously the people I'm playing more like high meta, decks that, you know, that would make sense to take the high meta type decks to a tournament, but I just kind of go in there to just mess around and just have fun. So, but like I said, you know, if you get a chance, join it. They're fun little tournaments. Not the to the extent of the big ones that we see that are coming from Second Dinner. They're more just like fun tournaments, but I like it. I have a lot of fun with it. So check it out if you get a chance. And yeah, so that was generally my week in the game. Over the course of this week, I played a lot of Conquest. So, all right, guys. Well, we're gonna head over to the Comics Corner in an effort to try to keep this, right on time here, maybe a little under, and we're gonna talk about Bastion in comics. And I said I was going to incorporate some of the other things in. What I may do with these extra cards is I may pick like maybe 2 of the cards, and maybe when I have my guests on my YouTube channel, maybe we'll talk about them with the guests. And that way I'll be able to cover more of these cards, because I'm only gonna talk about Bastion today on the show. So I'm not gonna have 2 of them like I did last week, but I'm getting behind with a lot of these. So maybe that's what I'll do, is maybe when I have my guests on, maybe we'll chat about the character or the cards a little bit with them, and talk about the lore a little bit of the cards with my guests. So, all right. So Bastion in Marvel Comics. All right. Sebastian Gilberti, Earth 616. And the quote we get from him: "No, fools, release me now. You have no idea what you are up against." So there you go. That comes from Bastion. That is a quote from him in comics. Bastion, Sebastian Gilberti, adopted name. Current alias is Bastion. His affiliation, relatives are his parents, obviously, Rose Gilberti, foster mother, deceased. Other relatives, Master Mold, previous incarnation. Status unknown. Nimrod, previous incarnation as well. He is single. Physical characteristics: he's male, 6'3", 375 pounds. Irises are hazel. His hair is white. Origin and living status: was created when Nimrod and Master Mold were merged by the Siege Perilous Sentinel android. He is deceased. His living status: place of birth, Siege Perilous. Killed by Shen Zorn. Cause of death: so he was killed by Zorn. Secret identity: mutant exterminator, former government operative, formerly Operation Zero Tolerance. This is base of operation. Formerly Operation Zero Tolerance Base, New Mexico. Created by Mark Waid and Andy Kubert. First appearance, X-Men Volume 2, number 52, in March 1996. And then Uncanny X-Men number 333 in April 96 was his full appearance. His death was in X-Men Blue, number 28, May of 2018. All right. Bastion was born, in quotes, when the giant robotic Sentinel Master Mold, having absorbed the advanced Sentinel prototype Nimrod into its systems, fought the X-Men, who saw no other way to stop the virtually indestructible amalgam except to force it through the Siege Perilous, a pan-dimensional portal which subjects those who pass through to the judgment of the universe's higher powers. Re-emerging from the portal as an amnesiac human sentinel hybrid with a seemingly immortal essence, he was taken in by a woman named Rose Gilberti. Living with Rose, she adopted him as a surrogate son and gave him the name Sebastian Gilberti. He began to hear about America's mutant problem. At some point, Bastion fell in with anti-mutant groups like Graydon Creed's Fields or Friends of Humanity. Operation Zero Tolerance. Bastion's prime directives were soon reawakened, and he began assembling the International Anti-Mutant Strike Force, Operation Zero Tolerance. They attempted to reconfigure the Sentinel Force assembled by Project Wideawake, but Bastion deemed most of them outdated. Instead, he had a number of humans secretly outfitted with nanotechnology to be prime Sentinels. After Professor X voluntarily turned himself in after the events of Onslaught, Bastion confined him in an OZT facility, along with the artificially created mutant Manites. Bastion also killed a Daily Bugle reporter who was going to report on Graydon Creed's history. He then captured Jubilee. Soon after, Bastion put OZT into full effect, utilizing the Prime Sentinels and quickly capturing several X-Men members. Bastion took control of the Xavier Institute and accessed Xavier's files in several of the Xavier protocols, despite opposition from Cable and Caliban of X-Force. The captured X-Men and Jubilee ultimately managed to escape. OZT was shut down by the U.S. government after Henry Peter Gierich and Senator Robert Kelly asked the President of the United States to intervene. Bastion was remanded into SHIELD custody, but he escaped and returned to the former OZT facility. There, he absorbed the energy from the Master Mold unit with which he had created the Prime Sentinels and sought to transform Machine Man into the Sentinel Supreme. He was opposed by Cable and seemingly destroyed. Bastion survived and was recaptured by S.H.I.E.L.D. Death was sent to kill the Manites, but also attacked Bastion, leaving only his head intact. Bastion's head was recovered by the robotic gatekeeper servants of the techno-organic being Mainspring. Bastion co-opted one of the gatekeeper's bodies and used it to attack the techno-organic hero Warlock and his allies. Being eventually defeated, Bastion's head was later recovered by Mainspring, who stripped away the layers of his program to reveal the original Master Mold source code, and using the alien transmode virus he was infected with, rewrote Bastion's programming, transforming him into Template. The virus soon took complete control of Template and forced him to construct the Babel Spire on Earth to signal the alien technarchy to oppose them. Mainspring destroyed himself along with Template, while Warlock managed to destroy the Babel Spire. Bastion's head was later retrieved by the U.S. government agents in order to access the information he had stolen from Xavier's files. The information was retrieved by Shadowcat, Wolverine, and Gambit, but not before Bastion attempted to sow mistrust among them by confronting them with misleading holographic scenarios. Although they got the files, the X-Men were showing signs of doubt within themselves and their team. X-Force. After the events of the Messiah Complex, the Purifiers infiltrated a S.H.I.E.L.D. facility with the help of double agents and stole Bastion's head, reattaching it to a Nimrod body. Once online, he alerted the Purifiers to the presence of the mutant team X-Force in their church. After their escape, Bastion realized there was no terrestrial force that could destroy the X-Men and finally eliminate the remaining mutant population, so he created one by capturing some of the prominent enemies of the X-Men and resurrecting others that had been dead. He took control of them by implanting them with the techno-organic virus of Magus. After that, he faced a coup d'etat from Matthew Risman and his choir, while also contending with the X-Force team, which had followed Archangel, who sensed his stolen wings within the choir. Bastion fought Wolverine, but calculated that the risk was too high to fight him directly and escaped with the resurrected X-Men enemies. Second Coming. As part of Bastion and the Human Council's plan to kill the Messiah child and destroy mutant kind, when Cable and Hope returned to the present, Bastion ordered William Stryker's Purifiers, the Leper Queen's Sapien League, and Cameron Hodge's Right Smiley Faces to kill them. To cripple the X-Men, he ordered his underlings to target their teleporters and destroy all the transports on the X-Men's Utopia base. A large dome appeared over the Bay Area to cut off the X-Men from escape or help. Once the dome was activated, Bastion opened a dimensional portal to his home reality to bring in more Nimrod series Sentinels. Like the original Nimrod, these Sentinels were able to detect, analyze, and adapt to mutant powers, as well as self-repair. The X-Men were barely able to subdue them, and several X-Men sustained severe injuries. Every 5 minutes, a wave of five new Nimrod Sentinels continued to appear through the portal. Only by sending X-Force, Cable, and Cypher into the future to reprogram the signal and destroy the Nimrod Master Molds were the X-Men successful in defeating them. Deciding that he would end the program himself by killing Hope personally, Bastion attacked. Hope, filled by the rage of losing her father and the manifestation of her mutation, utterly destroyed Bastion and his dome in a single blast of tremendous energy. Mutant kind savior, unbeknownst to the X-Men, Bastion had managed to avoid death by escaping into the future. Severely damaged and with his systems compromised by the strain of time travel, Bastion found himself in a future where mutants were still endangered, this time due to the toxicity of the Terrigen Mist permeating the atmosphere. Bastion realized that if mutant kind went extinct, he would lose his purpose, prompting him to save them so he could perpetuate his utility function. Back in the present, Bastion reprogrammed a group of Sentinels to help him carry out his new mission, and they soon started to refer to themselves as mutants due to their new programming. When his mutant sentinels were confronted by the time-displaced original X-Men while aiding a new mutant who had emerged in Barcelona, Bastion had them captured and brought before him so he could try to convince them into joining his cause. However, the X-Men realized that Bastion simply wished to save mutant kind so that he himself could exterminate it, leading to a battle between the mutant team and the robots. Seeing the battle as pointless, Bastion fled with his sentinels. After Hydra took control of the United States of America under the leadership of Cosmic Cube-altered Captain America, mutants were given part of Northern California so they would not interfere with Hydra's new regime. Bastion started to work with Miss Sinister, Emma Frost, and Havoc in order to use the Mother Vine virus, a catalyst for artificial mutations on a global scale. Following Mother Vine's global release, Emma Frost turned against her allies after discovering the mutants generated by Mother Vine were vulnerable to mind control and Miss Sinister. She liberated the group of young X-Men that had carried out a failed assault against the masterminds behind Mother Vine and attacked Havoc and Bastion. The X-Men Zorn sacrificed himself and killed Bastion, swallowing him with the black hole inside his head. There you go. All right, so his powers, superhuman strength. His cybernetic body makes him inhumanly strong, well beyond the human limit. Superhuman speed. As a cybernetic life form, he can run and move at speeds that are beyond the physical limits of the finest human athlete. Superhuman durability. As a cybernetic life form, his construction makes him very durable. Stamina. As a cybernetic life form, he can exert itself well beyond the human limit. Agility, same thing. Balance, body coordination, enhanced. And adaptation. Like all Sentinels, he can access the particular mutant abilities of his adversary and then modify his internal and external mechanism to compensate. He was exposed to the techno-organic virus by the villain Mainspring. With it, he gained the ability to transmute inorganic matter into techno-mechanical material that he had complete and total control over. He can reanimate dead people by infecting them with the virus. He has a hive mind. Also, technopathy. Gain the power to command and control computer systems. Sentinel creation. He creates prime sentinels. Shape alteration and appearance. Can change his shape and appearance, obviously. Winged flight. Size increase. Quick self-repair. Energy manipulation. Telepathic immunity. Is immune to psychic reading. Time traveling. Teleportation. Portal creation. And genius intelligence. He does have a laser pistol that he uses as paraphernalia. All right, so that is a Bastion, and we are going to jump now over to the Marvel Unlimited app, and we're going to see where you can indeed read about Bastion. So we are going to look him up, and then, of course, I will go over my pull list of comics that I'm reading for this week. So let us see what it pulls up when I pull up Bastion. Pulls up his character, of course. And the details listed here. When the X-Men forced the combined Master Mold and Nimrod through the Siege Perilous, a human sentinel being came out the other side. Adopted and raised by a human, Sebastian Gilberti eventually grew to hate mutants and enacted Operation Zero Tolerance. Though captured and destroyed many times over, Bastion often returns with a new murderous plan. So, the comics are going to be X-Men Blue from 2017 to 2018, issue number 27, number 26, issue number 23. X-Men Second Coming, Revelations, Blind Signs from 2010, issue number 1. X-Force, issue number 6 from 2008 to 2010. Issue number 5, issue number 4, issue number 2, and issue number 1. Then we go back to Uncanny X-Men, issue number 382 from 2000, the year 2000, July 1st. There is a Machine Man Bastion Annual, issue number 1, that's out there. Then we have, of course, Excalibur, issue number 119 from 1998. That's more around the time than he was brought into comics. X-Men issue number 69 from 1997, also number 47 from 1997. So this is going back, obviously, to the time that he had his origin story. So lots and lots of stuff you could read about Bastion in the Marvel app. Obviously, I always say, if you can, get to your local comic book store. I'm sure you can find some graphic novels that indeed involve Bastion in them. So check out your local comic store. Give them some support if you can. If not, like I said, $9.99 is all you need per month to get the Marvel Unlimited app. So I absolutely, I've said it before, I absolutely love the app, and I read it. I read it a lot and all of the time. So, all right, the books that I've got this week. So the new this week books. Now these are the ones in particular that I'm reading. I just there is a new book out called in the Ultimate line, Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion. That's at issue number 1, so that's a brand new book, which I did read. That's involving more of the Spider-Verse. You have Miles and stuff in that one. Star Wars Jedi Knights, which I've been reading, which involves Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi's early exploits. So I've been reading that. That's at issue number 4. New Star Wars book called The High Republic, Fear of the Jedi is out. That's been out for, that has multiple issues out already, but that's up to issue number 5. That, of course, The High Republic takes place many, many years before the original Star Wars does. Red Hulk, I've been reading. This is all to do with the Doom story, so that's up to issue number 5. X-Men, just regular X-Men up to issue number 17. Helverine is up to issue number 7. The World to Come, which involves Black Panther. Marvel Knights, The World to Come. I have not read this yet, but I will. Ghost Rider versus Galactus, issue number 1. This was a pretty cool story. This is the Johnny Blaze version of Ghost Rider. Basically, he was asked by Ben Grimm to go eliminate Galactus. And that's how the story goes along. But it's pretty cool little interaction between those two. Doctor Strange of Asgard is up to issue number 4. Daredevil, which I've been reading every single time it comes out, is up to issue number 22. So I'll be checking that out. Of course, Amazing Spider-Man, the newest run of that is issue number 5, where he's battling the Hobgoblin with the poison soda pop and all that kind of stuff thing going on in there. It's kind of a trippy story. But I will be reading that as well. Immortal Thor is up to issue number 24. Ultimate Wolverine up to issue number 6. Marvel Mutt's Infinity comic that is exclusive to the app, issue number 16. Astonishing X-Men, also exclusive to the app. Marvel Rivals Infinity comic, exclusive to the app as well. Yeah, that's about it. It's kind of a light week this week in comics. Not a whole lot to report on from the app or that's been coming out. So, all right, guys, we are going to move it along here, and we are going to get to the MCU Minute, the MCU news of the week, and talk about some stuff with that. Obviously, Marvel Zombies is coming later this month. But the big news, of course, is the Russo brothers post, and it was entitled "Doomsday is Coming." And they have shared a photo in there that is very cryptic looking. A lot of people are saying it is Reed Richards' blackboard, which I agree with that. Looks like it has some wording, some stuff drawn on there, and it does look like it's yellow on the bottom, so it does look like it could certainly be that. But this is from Screen Rant. A cryptic new look at Avengers Doomsday has been shared. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is on its way to releasing what will be its next biggest movie thus far in 2026. Avengers Doomsday cast includes characters from all over the MCU with a healthy mix of franchise veterans and multiverse saga stars, as well as many returning Fox X-Men franchise actors. While Doomsday has been filming for months, the project did not have the same number of set videos and photos leaking as other superhero films and shows have seen over the past few years. Marvel is keeping a tight lid on it, which means that every official tease is important. Now, a new look at the film has been released. On Instagram, the Russo brothers teased Avengers Doomsday with a new set photo that claims Doomsday is coming. As has become the norm for MCU's next Avengers movie, the set photo does not clearly point to a character or a plot point for Avengers Doomsday. The blurry image shared by the Russo brothers seems to be from a chalkboard with equations or writing that can't be read. However, it might connect to a 2025 movie. Of course, Fantastic Four First Steps they're talking about. The Fantastic Four First Steps post-credit scene featured Doctor Doom's franchise debut, which, by the way, they are now saying that is Robert Downey that was in that scene. They did not come out and say that before, but they are now admitting that that was him. Character was last seen talking to Franklin, which should lead to Fantastic Four's role in the movie. Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards was seen scribbling away on his chalkboard in the movie. Could be looking at ways to stop or help Doctor Doom with the multiverse. They do make their way to the main universe, or at least their spaceship does, as seen in Thunderbolts. Perhaps could also relate to Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom or Kelsey Grammer's Beast. Two other incredibly smart Marvel characters who are confirmed for Avengers Doomsday could be taking to a chalkboard to solve multiverse questions. Based on secrecy surrounding the movie, the answer might only be revealed when Doomsday premieres on December 18th, 2026. So that was kind of cool. One of the cool things that that came out in the Marvel universe this week. I'm going to get to other things in a second here. This new Apple thing is driving me insane. The new iOS just has a ton of stuff on it, and it changed a whole bunch, and it's making me nuts. Vision Quest star talks joining MCU, teases scenes with James Spader's Ultron. Emily Hampshire is set to star in the upcoming Vision Quest Disney Plus series, and recently opened up about joining the MCU in her potential upcoming scenes with James Spader's Ultron. Speaking to talk about her upcoming role, and this is from Superhero Hype. Hampshire, who plays Edith, an AI created by Tony Stark, joked that when she was first got casted, she actually had no idea what the MCU even was. Now, though, she's done her homework and understands how big the franchise is. When I first got this job, which I couldn't talk about for a year, which was very difficult, my lawyer had said to me, "Now you're in the MCU," and I had to look up what MCU meant. Hampshire said with a sly smile, "But now I am fully immersed. I've watched all the movies, but I didn't know much about the MCU before. Now I know everything. I was shocked at how secret it is. Like, we had to give our scripts at the end of the day, so it is very secret. I know a lot of things I can't tell you." Hampshire went on to praise the work she got to do with both Paul Bettany and James Spader, the latter of whom is reprising his role as Ultron for the series. She didn't confirm she had any scenes with Spader. She did mention working with him several times. What was amazing was that it was with Paul Bettany and James Spader, who are the best people. I've worked with some great people. I was just in awe. Paul is just the greatest. I think we were in the womb together, and I kicked him, and he laughed. And then we became friends like we've known each other all our lives. So there's a cool little interview there. James Spader, Todd Stashwick, Rurid Molika, Tania Miller, Orla Brady, and Farhan Tahir are other people that were cast for Vision Quest. So some other people who were on the show. Elizabeth's new fantasy rom-com becomes a hit on Rotten Tomatoes as we wait for Elizabeth Olsen to rejoin the MCU. Marvel star addresses apparent removal from Avengers Doomsday. Let's see who this is. Features a star-studded cast. So who is this Marvel star? Benedict Cumberbatch. Benedict Cumberbatch addresses rumors about Doctor Strange removal from Doomsday after cast announcement absence. Confused about Cumberbatch's status in the movies, the actor had given multiple answers about whether he would be involved in it. He then reversed course with confirmation that he would actually be involved in Doomsday, telling Business Insider that "I am the one," only for the cast announcement to seemingly reveal that he wouldn't be. However, the man himself is ensuring that fans keep an open mind about Strange's involvement. Speaking with Omelette, Cumberbatch seemingly teased that he might still be involved, saying, "Who knows? Maybe they just didn't have enough chairs." So a little bit of playful stuff going on there from Doctor Strange. himself. And that is Benedict Cumberbatch. And let's see. James Gunn originally wanted MCU star instead of John Cena for Peacemaker. That's interesting. Marvel kills off an Avenger in new MCU trailer. Got to be Marvel Zombies. Yeah, oh yeah, Ghost. Poor Ghost. All right, well, that is pretty much the news. The big news was that reveal by the Russo brothers, pretty much for the MCU for this coming week. So, all right, guys, it is time for Dazzlers Lyric Challenge for the week. And I am going to pick one from, now again, you would have to be paying attention to the pod a little bit, but I'm going to pick a lyric from and this is a giveaway, if you recall, but I'm going to pick a lyric from my all-time favorite band. And it is going to be from, let me think of which one I want to do here. Some of their stuff is just, well, let's do this. But this is from my all-time favorite band. Okay, so here we go. All right. Here we go. Dazzlers Lyric Challenge. 12 o'clock, I gotta rock. There's a truck ahead, light staring at my eyes. Oh my God, no time to turn. I've got to laugh. I know I'm gonna die. Why? There you go. There's the lyrics from the week. My favorite all-time band ever. I've talked about them many times on the podcast. And this is from one of their most famous songs that they've ever done. They usually open all of their concerts with it when they play. And yeah, just the very, very famous song by my all-time favorite band. So, of course, I had to get them in here at some point. But there you go. So yeah, a little bit of a quicker one today. Again, I kept the two right on an hour and a half. But yeah, I will be back later this evening. I'm going to do an OTA review, which will be out later tonight in podcast format. So it'll be out on this format, of course, audio. And then I'm getting back to the guest guys. So starting on my YouTube channel on Monday will be Nerf Herder, followed up by Kier Nimbus. I might do maybe two of them in a span of a couple days because I'm off Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. But that said, really quickly, I am a part of the Snap Judgments team league of podcasts, which includes, of course, Snap on This with Glazer and Roy, which he does every single weekend. I think it's usually Friday, Saturday. And he has awesome guests on from the world of Marvel Snap, so make sure you check that out. And also, Snap on This with Ree and Lauren Whatevs and Benjamin Roller out every single Friday. Check them out. They have a great podcast, and it's always a great time and great fun listening to that show. And I think Kier is still on hiatus, so his podcast is on hiatus right now as well. But I am a proud member of that team of podcasts, so check them all out. Wherever you listen to a Marvel podcast. And again, thank you so much for listening to the show. I appreciate all of you participating in the polls and the questions and all that kind of stuff. Again, I'm still that part of that segment of the podcast is still open to any questions. So if you have any questions for me related to anything about Snap, Marvel, comics, whatever the case might be, you're able certainly shoot those over. And then poll questions and stuff. I appreciate you all answering and take the time to do that and all of your input. And I appreciate you all listening to the show wherever you may listen on whatever podcast format you listen to. You can certainly leave me comments, whether it be on X, whether it be on Blue Sky, or whether it be on my Discord, questions, comments, all that kind of stuff. I'd love to hear from you. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your week in Snap. I hope something that comes out of the OTA interests you today, and enjoy it. Have fun playing the game, because that's what it's for. And yeah, have a great rest of your week. Always remember 9/11, and take a moment today to just really quickly think about or remember the victims of that, and the tragedy of that, and of course, and of all the people who passed away, and the first responders and people who helped and everything like that. And please stay safe, be kind to one another always, and hopefully I will talk to you all on the next episode of Snap Decisions. This is your Snap DJ, signing off.